watching someone on AEW and I ask, who is this guy? I don't need you to tell me I'm not a real wrestling fan, to tell me how could you not know such and such who did, who gives a damn? Like, I need you, all right, inform me, bro. Or at least have your programming in a way to let people know why you should love this dude, why you should fuck with this guy. That's something that I feel. So when they see these names together, it is a dream match for them. But you're trying to sell this to American television, baby. You got to movie that up a little bit. You got to give me some cinema to follow. You know, something to hold on to besides the announce team running down a list for me while this dude's walking down the ramp. And I feel like that's missing. And when you are trying to get involved and trying to really give something a chance, and when you question it even a little bit, and you get 80 no-faced accounts coming at you at any given time, you're like, man, noise, bro.
I'm a fan of wrestling and things of that nature. So I have to ask you, sis, did you have a chance to catch the clip that's been going around virally where he touched on AEW and AEW's fans and why he kind of has a hard time trying to get into AEW? Did you catch that?
I did see that clip. And I thought that it was very interesting because a couple weeks ago, I brought up that Kat Dennings situation where Kat Dennings, maybe 2021, she had watched SummerSlam and she had tweeted, this was my first SummerSlam, my first time ever watching WWE, I think I'm gonna watch all of it. And then the timeline, people were like, oh, you need to be watching Kenny Omega. What are you talking about, man? You need to be watching AEW and all these things. It's kind of to a casual person, it's very whoa. I don't know what you're talking about. It's a little overwhelming because that's the thing about wrestling that a lot of people don't understand is that it's a rabbit hole. You could just pick an arrow and just fall down that hole and watch for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. So just let people find their niche, find their wrestling, their own version of what they find sports entertaining. I feel like a lot of people try to, I'm not saying AEW fans, but I feel like a lot of people, they like to say oh, this is what real wrestling is, or this is what this should be, or this is how this should be showcased. And it's there is no one particular way for something to be showcased. Because if that was the case, anything as a concept would be over by now because everyone would be bored with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
That's true.
I don't know. It was definitely a very, very interesting conversation that I saw people having on the timeline the past couple of days.
Yeah, man. You are so telling the truth on that because it was it's okay if you got to call them AEW fans out. You know what I'm saying? We're fans of all wrestling for the most part, but it's okay if you want to specify them. Let them know because since the company's been in existence, they act like AEW can do no wrong. And it's I'm sad to tell you, but the company you were 2 years ago versus who you are now is not the same company, and that's okay. All right, it's not the same company. Storylines were better, arguably the first couple of years, and some of them now are kind of hit and miss. It depends on what it is. It depends on where we're headed. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's crazy because where he got me, and I'm sure he got you with this one too. Because as a beautiful woman who loves wrestling, if you see no-faced profiles over here commenting on your stuff or talking, or dare I say, the stand accounts where it's someone hiding behind I am a Zelina Vega fan, so I'm using Zelina Vega's picture to comment about you. Oh, I'm a Tegan Knox fan, so I'm gonna hide behind Tegan Knox's picture. Oh, what can I think? I'm a Deonna Purrazzo fan, so I'm gonna hide behind Deonna Purrazzo's picture and comment on everything you say in regards to Deonna Purrazzo or anybody that I like also. So, come on. Does that not turn you off sometimes where you're like, really?
It's annoying. Like, and honestly, like, I feel like it should have opened a bigger conversation about the IWC in general, because I've been in the IWC for a couple years now, and I know how they operate. Like, I can tell you beat for beat how they're gonna react to something, how they're gonna react to a person, how they're gonna react to an angle, because like, it's not that they're predictable, but they're predictable. They're fickle, you know? And so a lot of times, as well as like very, very negative, you know? So it's finding that balancing act. It's finding the accounts that are actually there for the fun of it all and don't take things too seriously. But man, I have seen some wild things.
Boy.
Of the IWC.
Yeah, man, they gotta get better with that, y'all. Like, seriously. And that's why I'm just like, to see someone of a high profile like O'Shea talk about that just goes to show it's like you said, I mean, I love how you just put it as, yeah, just because I'm like this really known person with a really cool job or whatever doesn't mean I'm not still a person. Like, I love what everybody else loves. I love my anime. I love my video games. I love pro wrestling. Right? And shout out to him for just showing people, you know, as Chris Van Vliet pointed out about closet wrestling fans, you know, how you got some who are like afraid to admit they love pro wrestling. It's like, bro, we are in 2024. Be you, dude. Like, if this is what you love.
Oh. You're like, I like wrestling, so it's just gonna come in and just nail you? Like,
yeah, like, no, man, this ain't it. People forget, like, in the 90s, it was okay to love wrestling. It was the coolest thing in the world at one point in time. It was taking over the world. And it's actually back at that point now where it's doing it again, because you're finding out, like, oh, snap, I didn't know that this musician was a wrestling fan. Oh, snap, there's, like, the whole Green Bay Packers team right there. Wow, they like wrestling. And they're NFL players. Wow, look, we're at the NBA All-Star game. Look at this WWE belt being spread across and everybody's rocking it. They don't just rock that because it looks cool. They're rocking it because they're fans of wrestling. Like, bruh, I think about Damian Lillard, for crying out loud. The man came dressed as Stone Cold Steve Austin for Halloween one year, walking to the arena. Like, it's always been there. So it's really cool to just see people being themselves authentically and unapologetically. So
hip hop as well. Like, I feel like hip hop loves and appreciates wrestling so much.
Yeah, a lot of people credit Ric Flair for the start of that. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, he embodied the lifestyle of what hip hop glorifies.
Yeah, you know.
But you're right. It's so many. You know what I'm saying? You hear the references and everything, man. And it's just, whether you're casual, whether you're hardcore, it doesn't matter. It's okay to admit that you like wrestling. And pretty girls love wrestling. As shout out to Kiera, shout out to All Elite Geeks, shout out to, you know, those wrestling girls. You know, I'm trying to get all of them in here because, you know, Women's Month is coming up.
Okay.
And we got something special for y'all throughout the month of March, where I step away and Miss Ashley takes point throughout this time. We're gonna try to get her some guests that I can hop on with her and talk some pro wrestling when ladies take over. You know what I'm saying? All that good stuff. So that.